I'm going to show you, through a story basically, something that happened to me, why you as a professional photographer, if you were a photographer who calls yourself a professional and sells your photography and sells your services, why you need a camera with a built-in battery grip. And no, a screw-on battery grip does not suffice for this. So here's how things were going down. At the company that I work for in my day job, Exhibit Studios, we had received a job to photograph the state's constitution. And this image had to be blown up very large, about 16 feet wide. And yes, it needed to be very good resolution. It had to be photographed at a specific focal length, at an exact angle, and with enough depth of field so that it was sharp all the way through the picture, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the project specifications were very exact, okay? And this is the state's constitution. It was a 200-year-old something document. And so, yes, it was a very delicate and sensitive item that we were photographing. I remember the owner of our company, Exhibit Studios, his name's Mike, he warned me in our morning meeting. He's like, look, there has been a lot of argument amongst the government employees who handle this document as to how this image should be taken and how the document should be handled. And he warned me, it's like, look, try to be as professional as possible so that we don't get any issues. I was like, okay. Yeah. So Larry and I, we started setting up, and sure enough, all of the said employees of the government who had been an issue in the past and who were most likely going to be an issue showed up and were there. And I could see Larry, my partner, he was already starting to sweat. Because he was like, oh, this is not looking good, okay? We're gonna get disrespected and pushed around and told exactly how to do this, and it's just gonna be a mess and a nightmare, and it's going to make this project expensive and long. Well, I pulled out my EM1X with a built-in battery grip. Everybody took one look at this camera, shut up, stood back, stayed out of our way, and we basically did our photo shoot. Nobody interfered. Nobody once said a word to us. And we were just able to basically fulfill the project specs and leave. Okay? I call this the built-in battery grip syndrome. As a professional, when you pull out a camera that has a built-in battery grip, this screams, okay, I know what I'm doing. And I can't tell you how many times I've been to different events and so forth where the professional had a camera like this without a battery grip, or maybe even had a camera with a battery grip, okay, but it was a screw-on type. And there were clientele there who would disrespect photographer, or maybe say things to the effect of, well, my uncle has a nicer camera than this guy, or I bet my father's camera has more megapixels than that one does. You know, things like, basically jading things like that basically kind of lower your perceived skill set amongst the participants of the event. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that if you have a built-in battery grip on your camera, these are rare. Not many people see these. And when you whip one of these things out, everybody leaves you the heck alone, okay? And they just let you do your thing and do your job. And that's kind of one of the reasons why, even though this camera is inferior to my OM1 in every single performance aspect, I still use my EM1X for certain jobs, especially when it involves clientele. And that's because of the respect that comes with a built-in battery grip. When people see a built-in battery grip on a camera, you know, they just automatically assume that you know the heck what you're doing. And they kind of give you more respect. And here, I'll give you another story. It's like, whenever I have had this camera with me, I always get the red carpet rolled out for me. Like, I know several times there have been times when I was at the zoo, for example, just with the kids and family. And because people took one look at this camera and they automatically assumed that I was a professional, and they even offered to allow me to go into areas that typically customers were not allowed to go to get pictures of the animals. and just basically, you know, they roll out the red carpet for me every single time when I have this camera. And yes, I've gone to those same locations and those same events with a built-in battery grip, or sorry, with a camera that has a screw-on battery grip, and guess what? I do not get the same red carpet treatment. So there you go. That's why I think that every single professional photographer, you should own a camera with a built-in battery grip, at least have one in your portfolio. I know getting an EM1X actually these days used is not that expensive, and it's just kind of something nice to have to, like, you know, it's like don't bullcrap me card that you can pull out at any kind of event and people will just let you do your thing.